On a warm, breezy calendar picture day at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, the battle for pole position glory at the Bridgestone Grand Prix of Monterey is about to be joined. But nowhere in racing is it tougher to win pole position than in the kart FedEx Championship Series. Round 1 in Mexico was a slick parkland circuit, mastered from the first round of qualifying by Adrian Fernandez. Round 2 offered the narrow streets and looming walls of the Long Beach circuit, where precision is critical, and no one was more precise or fast than Jimmy Vasser. Round 3 all change again to the egg-shaped oval at Motegi, Japan, where Bruno Junqueira not only took pole, but dominated the race. Round 4 took place on the Milwaukee Mile, where the long turns and short straights could hardly be more different than Motegi. Just ask Adrian Fernandez, who qualified 14th in Japan, first in Wisconsin. This weekend, the world's fastest open-wheel race cars are back to making left and right turns in the hills above California's Monterey Peninsula. Who will rule at Laguna Seca? We have 60 minutes to find out, and everyone will be aiming for the provisional pole sitter from Team Target, Kenny Breck. Welcome to another beautiful day in paradise, Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, as we get set for second round qualifying for round 5 of the kart FedEx Championship Series for 2002, the Bridgestone Grand Prix, presented by Mazda. Hello everyone, I'm Bob Varsha. If this morning's practice was any indication, it's going to be a very interesting 1-hour qualifying session. Here's a look at yesterday's provisional round, topped by Kenny Breck from Team Target, followed by Cristiano D'Amata, who has been the fastest man at Laguna Seca since February, but was not able to get the job done for provisional pole. He'll get a second shot today. Patrick Carpentier with the Players 4-Size team suffered a crash on his last lap of qualifying, but he did not bring out the red flag, so he keeps the lap, and he is third, followed by Tony Kanaan, the most luckless driver in the series right now. At the other end of a very sharp stick, there is Paul Tracy, last week's winner on the Milwaukee Mile. He and Team Green are 13th. Teammate Michael Andretti is 17th, and his third teammate Dario Franchitti is 19th. Picking up the Team Green story down in the pit lane, let's join Derek Daly.
Bob, to become a champion, no doubt along the way, you'll probably have to overcome adversity. Well, adversity and success have gone hand in hand with Team Green all this year. Just think about it. Long Beach, Michael crashes on Saturday, goes out and wins the race on Sunday. They go to Milwaukee, they're successful. In the middle, though, they were at the Indy 500. They were all at sea. In fact, they took the cars away from the speedway at one stage to try and work things out. They found speed the second weekend of qualifying, and on race day, remember what happened? It all came good yet again for Team Green, with Paul Tracy finishing out the first or second. They come here, they're at sea again. Tracy crashes yesterday. Michael's car was so bad yesterday, he wouldn't even drive it. They took away his car to work on it halfway through the session yesterday. Dario goes out this morning and he crashes. But they're beginning to show signs that yet again they're digging themselves out of a hole, with Paul Tracy being P6 this morning. But Michael and Dario have now less than 1 hour to find the speed, as race day is tomorrow. Now, another team with some of its own problems this weekend also is just down the pit lane here with the third member of our broadcast crew this afternoon, Calvin Fish. Calvin?
Thanks, Derek. Well, certainly the Players team has had its share of adversity here this weekend. It started in the morning practice session yesterday. Alex Tagliani was cresting the hill up towards the corkscrew. He came upon Christian Fittipaldi, who was running out of fuel, had to take evasive action, major damage to that Renard. After the crash, both drivers got together. There was some discussion there. It looked pretty amicable, but we hear from the safety crews, Tags was pretty upset with Christian on not pulling the car off the race circuit earlier. Then we got to the qualifying session. Tags went for his backup. He was 7th fastest. His teammate Patrick Carpentier was 3rd fastest, was on a flyer, came down the hill through the right-hander, got wide in the dirt, and backed it hard into the fence once again. So the Players team have really been busy here this weekend. They responded this morning in the practice session, both cars in the top 7. And Kelly Lowen, you're an engineer on Tag's car, but on Patrick's car, excuse me. But you guys really seem to respond and get it together when the going gets tough.
Well, you know, everybody's been working flat out, and the drivers are doing their best. They're driving 10/10s, and these things will happen. So we'll just keep rolling out the cars, and we'll keep powering ahead.
Okay, well, these guys are certainly home for a more peaceful session here this afternoon. But a team that really runs strong here at Laguna, but are having problems here this weekend, is standing by with Scott Pruitt.
I'm here with Jimmy Vassar. Jimmy, not exactly where you wanted yesterday, but today in the morning practice, looked like things were coming along pretty good with the shell car.
Yeah, I think we made a few changes overnight that seemed to be a bit better. We did get a chance to run on tires, so I'm not real sure we can run with Cristiano and Kenny and Tony look a little bit quicker than the rest, but we're hoping for the solid top 5 starting spot.
Now, as you go into qualifying, you're looking at how to get those best 15 laps. Has anything changed from yesterday? You're still going to play the same strategy?
Well, I leave that up to all these smart guys out there, so I think we're planning on doing something similar to yesterday. We're going to probably run 5 laps on the first hit and make a change, see if it works. On the second part, run a couple laps, maybe one-timed laps, and then go for it at the end.
Well, best of luck. So let's go back to the booth with Bob.
All right, thanks very much, gentlemen. We'll give you a look at the balance of our program schedule this weekend from here on the Monterey Peninsula. Tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, it's round 4 of the Elite of the Kart Development Ladder, the Stars of the Future, and the Toyota Atlantic Championship. That's tonight at 10 Eastern. Tomorrow, our race coverage of the Bridgestone Grand Prix of Monterey begins live on Speed at 4 p.m. with green flag falling shortly after 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Plan to join us here on Speed throughout the weekend. It's time for second round qualifying, and everybody's feeling a little feisty here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. We'll see who's got the goods when we return. Stay with us. Welcome back. Just moments from the green flag for second round qualifying for the Bridgestone Grand Prix of Monterey here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. I'm Bob Varsha, alongside a man whose sense of humor is definitely Seca, Tommy Kendall. Now, Tommy, Cristiano D'Amato left everybody for dead back in February on this racetrack at Sneak Preview. Yesterday, he didn't get the job done in provisional pole qualifying. Don't you think you were a little tough on him?
Well, I thought I was. As a matter of fact, I focused on the fact that Cristiano was 1.1 seconds faster than everybody in the morning, maybe relaxed a little bit, and did not capitalize on the shot at locking in a front row spot. Well, after the session, what did Cristiano say? He said we had a 1.1 second gap that was a little misleading because of our new tires. We relaxed a little bit, didn't try to make the car better, and blew a shot at locking in a front row spot. So at the risk of dislocating my shoulder, patting myself on the back, I pointed out for a couple reasons. It's very significant. One, it shows real confidence to not make excuses and otherwise defend what you did. And that leads to the second, which allows you to see what happened very clearly and not repeat it. Excuses in public often lead to excuses in private. And so while that candor was also refreshing, it's also part of what makes Cristiano so good. I'm looking to see if that plus his obvious speed converts into his first career pole.
I think it's going to be a very interesting session, and D'Amato is going to be heard from. Here's a look at the points on both road courses and oval tracks. And look at Cristiano D'Amato down in 5th place. Winner of the season opener. 27 of his total of 29 championship points thus far have been earned on the road courses. That tells you both how good he is on the roads and how poorly his Newman Haas team has done on the 2 oval tracks we have raced thus far this year. Now, one name you do not see in this list of the top 10 in the overall championship is arguably one of the fastest guys in the series, but he has had no luck at all. Picking up that story once again, here's Derek Daly.
Thank you, Bob. I just want to take you behind the scenes a little bit here. This is Ian Watt, who is Tony Kanaan's engineer. Ian, I know you have the setup sheet in your hand. If I could just have a quick look at that, just to show the people what, in fact, you do here. This sheet here, they log every single lap that Tony goes out and does. They log the time that he does it. Over here is the changes that the engineer, Ian Watt, would make on the car. 2 flats up on the front or 2 flats in the rear. That makes ride heights up or down. And over here is the driver comments, bottoming, loose, possible springs, maybe. So every single thing that is actually said by the driver, Ian Watt would actually take note of. Now, what this does is it tracks the mileage of the engine, because they just multiply the lap length by the number of laps. Tracks the chassis components. But I found an interesting note on the piece earlier on that Kanaan made a note for Ian. He said, get D'Amato to pay his rent. Calvin, can you fill us in on that, please?
Well, the two Brazilian roommates are here getting ready for qualifying. And Tony, we're looking at your engineering sheet, and it says that you believe Cristiano's a little bit of a freeloader here when it comes to paying the rent.
Well, I had to give up, so I asked Ian to give me a help to try to see if I can get some money out of him. You know, he's been winning a lot of races, you know. So, but then one day, I just hope if I'm in trouble, I have a house to leave.
Does Tony keep the house clean, Cristiano?
Well, he kicked me out of his house. I cannot say anything anymore. And the way it happened, I don't have any good things to say about this gentleman.
Tell us about the session this afternoon. I mean, as fast as you've been, you've never had a pole, and I think it's 56 races since Newman Haas sat on the pole. What about this afternoon? You got a very fast race car.
Well, we definitely have a very good chance. You know, as long if you can carry on with the interview with Tony throughout the session, I would appreciate it. Will make my life a little bit easier.
We'll try and keep Tony busy, but Tony, you've responded well to the change to the Lola, first time on a road course, sat in it yesterday, and things going well for you.
I mean, you know, the team has been doing a great job. I broke into Cristiano's room last night. I got his setup, so this morning we're very competitive. And no, I'm kidding. I think, you know, we're still trying to figure out this car, but I'm happy. I think I can try to give this little guy a hard time. Otherwise, you know, we need to finish. I need to finish a race. That's what I'm looking for right now.
Certainly the Pioneer team needs a break, guys, but it's going to be fun to watch these guys in action in a few minutes.
No question about it. Tony Kanaan without a finish through 4 races of the 2002 season thus far. Here's a program note. The Speed World Challenge Lime Rock Round is coming your way here on Speed Channel tonight. The touring class at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, the GT division at 9 p.m. Eastern. Great showroom stock racing in the Speed World Challenge tonight here on Speed Channel. We'll be back live to Laguna. Today's live Speed Channel coverage is brought to you by Mazda. There's the soul of a sports car in everything we make. By FedEx, proud sponsor of the Kart FedEx Championship Series. And by Eagle One. Need a new wax? Try Eagle One wax as you dry. Wash car, spray on, dry off, you're done. Welcome back live to Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, just moments from the start of final qualifying for this weekend's Bridgestone Grand Prix of Monterey. Bob Varsha, Tommy Kendall with you, and there is Mexican rookie Mario Dominguez, who has changed his car number this weekend from 16 to 55, hoping for a little good luck. With that in mind, we spoke with some of the drivers about any superstitions they might have.
I'm pretty sure you will find small things that we all do.
I used to carry rocks and things, but I stopped doing that.
I see like a penny, and I take it, and I say, well, I will have luck.
Number 6, and I can't have it because Cristiano has now. That's why he won so many races last year.
Put my gloves on the same way, all that sort of stuff.
I just hate the number 13.
If I win a race, I always check out which socks I was wearing.
If it's in a lap time or something like that, and I'm going around the track out thinking, oh my God, 13.
And I put the socks again and crash.
Then I have to convince myself, well, it's not 13, it's 113 point, or it's 213.
Never works.
Number 13 is terrible for me.
Mario, did you change your number to 55 because of better luck? You want a little better luck, or is it just something else?
Well, to tell you the truth, I'm not that superstitious. I think it's bad luck to be superstitious. So now, the reason we changed the number is because Herdez likes the 55. It's been a good number for the company. So the owner wanted to put 55, and we did it. It's not, to us, it's just another number.
And so far this weekend, pleased with the setup on the car, looking for more speed, looking for something different in qualifying here in a few minutes?
Yeah, we've been okay, but we're definitely looking for some more speed. Our practices have not been that great. We had problems today with a clutch, and we just spent most of the time in the pit, so we didn't get much laps to try the setup. But I think we should be okay for qualifying if we got it right.
We'll see what happens here in a few minutes. Best of luck. Bob?
All right, thanks, Scott. There's your kind of guy, TK. It's bad luck to be superstitious.
That's my kind of logic.
And there's Mario's kind of fans for Team Herdez. Now let's give you a look at the morning practice speeds. Fastest man in the morning session. What a surprise. Cristiano D'Amata back to the top of the time charts at 1 minute 9.701 seconds. That's the fastest lap of the weekend. not unexpected at this racetrack where the buildup of rubber makes it faster and faster as the day goes on. Our provisional pole sitter Kenny Brack sits second. There is Tony Kanaan in third.
Those three guys are really kind of in their own league. Very, very close. No 1.1 second gap today. And so you get back a little bit further. Obviously, Jimmy's trying to get up there. Thinks he has a top 5 car. Dario and Michael, you see those guys down at the back. And not only have they had trouble, they just lack the speed. And so this race could unfold anyway. Long Beach, we didn't expect a guy to be able to employ pit strategy to leapfrog like that, but he did. But those guys would feel a lot more comfortable if they had some speed in those cars.
A lot of drivers with 2 cars in that listing, but the man in 12th place, Max Pappas, one of the great stories of the season thus far, doesn't have 2 cars. He is with the Sigma Autosport team. They have 1 chassis, no spare parts, no testing, and all Max has done with it is put it on the podium, both at Milwaukee and at Long Beach. A spectacular performance by Pappas. And this is a track he knows well. Last year, he started 25th on the grid, but with good fuel strategy and careful driving, came around to win, establishing a new kart record from coming farthest back on a road course grid to win the race. And with more on that story, here's Calvin Fish.
Well, as we mentioned yesterday, Dario Franchitti has now nicknamed Max Jesus after all the miracles this year. And last year, he pulled one off here with fuel strategy. With the new regulations, I think qualifying is even more important now, Max. You're not really going to play that fuel strategy this year with the 25-lap window. So qualifying is important. 12th fastest yesterday, 12th this morning, but you believe you have a top 6 car here.
I think that if we make it right, we should qualify in the top 6. But, you know, we have to be careful as well. You know, I need my car for tomorrow for the race. But we've done a good job, and I think that qualifying is going to be crucial. But we proved last year we can win from anywhere we start. So
this is a very difficult racetrack to set up for, and you really have to chase the conditions as well. A lot more grip today, and I would suspect you have to go a little bit stiffer with the setup.
The car behaves very different from yesterday. Yesterday the track was very slippery. Now you got up to a very decent level of grip. We work on making a little bit better front end. That's what you want in this track. You just want to drive the car almost loose, but not too loose that will step out. So I think we have done a pretty good job. I don't know if we really maximize it, but we're going to see in 15 minutes.
All right, mate, we'll look for another miracle. Good luck.
Thanks. Jesus.
I can't overstate how important, how significant this is. Dario Franchitti is calling Max Jesus for working miracles in a sport where the Dragons eat tremendous amounts of cash. They always want more, more, more. The team with the smallest budget in the series is 4th in points. Amazing.
I still prefer Mad Max myself. Here's another program note coming up tonight and tomorrow night. Speed News. Dave Despain and Ralph Shaheen will be your hosts with all the news and highlights from the motorsports world. Tonight, 30 minutes at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Tomorrow, a full 60 minutes, also at 7 Eastern. In a moment, we'll be back to talk with a champion, Emerson Fittipaldi, here to watch his nephew, Christian, in action. We'll hear from him in a moment. Speed Channel is your home for the greatest sports car race in the world. The 70th running of the 24 Hours of Le Mans is coming up next week. We'll have 7 hours of coverage of the start beginning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and then 3.5 hours beginning dawn Sunday in France, 12:30 a.m. to 4 a.m. Eastern Time here in the United States. Of course, 3 hours around the finish from 7:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. on Sunday, June 16th. Check it out, the 24 Hours of Le Mans. The green flag is now out. Over 8.5 minutes into the session, no cars on track, which was not unexpected. So let's take this opportunity to meet one of those great Brazilian athletes who needs one name only, Emo, with Derek Daly.
Exactly, Bob. A true legend of the sport. Emerson Fittipaldi won the championship in 1989. He had 22 wins, only the second driver to win the kart championship after becoming a Formula One world champion. Emerson, it is so good to see you. Is it a business trip, or are you here to just have fun?
No, it's a good, fun trip, Derek. I'm happy to be back here in California. Laguna is a great place, and come here to see Chris Pook. He's doing a fantastic job for kart.
A lot's changed since you drove in kart. I know you and Chris have been friends for many years, but do you keep in touch with the business aspects of kart? What do you think of some of the things that have gone on?
Well, I think the whole world's changing very quickly. There's a lot affect being sports, not just in kart, but I was in Monaco 2 weeks ago in Formula One. They have a big financial crisis. In soccer, they have a financial crisis, and I think we have to adapt fast to the new world that we're living now. And you know, kart I support is the best, most competitive race that exists in the world. I mean, it's the best for the racing fans.
Emerson, you were heavily involved in promoting a Brazilian race, and there were some problems initially. Do you see a kart race going back to Brazil in the foreseeable future?
We want to go back there in 2004. I mean, the Brazilian public loved the race, and we have very competitive Brazilian drivers. And we need to have a race in Brazil, yes.
And of course, another Chris you will support is Christian Fittipaldi, your brother's son, right?
That's right. Christian is going to do a good job in Laguna. He's optimist. The car is doing well here, and you know, Christian is going to do well too. All these Brazilians, huh?
The Brazilians are everywhere. Thank you so much, Emerson, for taking time to come and talk to us here. Thank you. Calvin?
Well, the young rookie Townsend Bell has certainly not had the start of the season that he was looking for, but he comes to Laguna Seca as the defending champion in Indy Lights competition, and Townsend 8th fastest yesterday in qualifying and 8th fastest this morning. How much pressure do you feel? I know that you wanted to perform well, certainly showing potential at Motegi and at Long Beach as well, but you haven't got the results you're looking for.
No, we need to finish some races, but you know, I got to where I am by pushing hard and hanging it out there, and you know, I don't expect that to change. Just trying to make sure that we can get there to the end of some of these races and start scoring some points. The Vistion team's been very patient with me, and you know, they're learning about me as I'm learning about the team. You know, we've got a good package with Toyota, and you know, as a one-car team, to be in the top 10 pretty consistently, I'm happy with that pace. But you know, pace is one thing. We need some points as well. But it's great to be here at Laguna.
Certainly Jim McGee and Pat Patrick have been around this game for many years and decades, in fact, and the fact that it is a one-car team, is that really a detriment that you don't really have a sparring partner, so to speak, to bounce things off with?
Well, really, I think it's the technical development over the course of the weekend. You know, with 2 cars or even 3 cars, you can make changes to one car and go down a different road with the other, and then after each session come back and meet and try to find an optimum between the two. But, you know, for a one-car team, we've got a hell of a program, and I think we can be competitive throughout the balance of the season.
All right, mate, have a great session today.
Thanks.
We talked about Motegi. Let's go down to the man who won the Motegi race with Scott Pruitt.
Bruno, not real happy with your car yesterday, but things seem like they're going pretty good this morning.
Yeah, you improving the car a little bit. We had a very good car here on the test on the start of the year, but the conditions are really different. Yesterday I was 6, and I hope I can improve a little bit today.
Now, we were talking a little bit about tires and how many laps it takes to get that best lap out of these Bridgestones. The optimum lap, second, the third lap, which is the best?
Yeah, I think the second and the third lap will be the best ones. Depend a little bit of the handling, you just get the perfect lap, you know, the perfect line. But I hope I can get second or third, but a good lap.
Best of luck. Bob?
All right, thanks very much. As you can see, Bruno Junqueira and his colleagues are not exactly rushing to get out on the racetrack, even though we are just over 13 minutes into this 1-hour session. What's going on, Tommy?
Well, the session continues to get quicker, and so some guys get themselves in trouble, but the teams literally just cannot help themselves. They will gladly risk everything for an extra 1/10 of a second in increased grip, even though they put themselves out there in a situation where one bit of traffic can cost them 4/10. But that is probable. The 10th is certain, so they're going after that 10th, and it's just how it unfolds.
Maybe we ought to get our pit reporters to spread the word up and down that there is some great FaceTime for your sponsors available right now. We got 2.238 miles of racetrack with nobody on it. As they say at the beauty pageant, it's time to find out who's got the best legs, and this is no swimsuit competition. Stand by. We'll be back live to Laguna. Welcome back live to Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, where a second round qualifying for the Bridgestone Grand Prix of Monterey presented by Mazda is finally underway. On track first, Shinji Nakano from Fernandez Racing, warming up for his first flying lap, and it'll be interesting to see just how much he can improve. Across the top of your screen, you see the times from yesterday's session. We'll be updating those with the combined times of the 2 sessions. The driver's fastest lap in either session will determine his place on the starting grid. And in a slight change from the season opener in Monterrey, Mexico, in which Adrian Fernandez, Nakano's team owner, went fastest on day 1, day 2 it rained, and so they gave Fernandez the bonus point for pole on day 2 as well. That no longer will happen. And a slight rules change, the fastest guy on day 2, no matter how fast or slow he is, will get that championship point and front row starting spot. Now let's go to Calvin Fish.
Well, we look at the teams now sitting in pit lane, Bob, and we're about 15, 20 minutes into this session. I'm here with Mike Hull, who's the team manager for Target Chip Ganassi Racing. Is it really a question to see who blinks first, Mike, or is there a time when you guys want to start to run these 15 laps each?
I think everybody blinks at the same time, Calvin. I think if you watch the road track races so far, about 35 minutes to go. Everybody can't stand it any longer, and they go on the racetrack. And I think you try to get 2 quality runs in the last 35 minutes of the run, and you try to give yourself just a little bit of room at the end in case somebody does something crazy.
Quick question about Kenny. He's got the provisional pole, bonus point from yesterday. Is the pole position important to you? Do you go out and try and win every session? Are you going forward with Kenny this afternoon?
It's fantastic to be on the pole, and we want to do the same thing today, but it's great to start in the front. You know that going in, that helps you a lot, but you can't let up. You know, you got to keep pushing. Kenny, you guys know him very well. He pushes hard, so hopefully we can push just as hard today and stay up there.
All right, mate, good luck. Let's get down to Derek Daly with more news on the Target team.
Calvin, most of us know by now that Scott Dixon was the youngest ever winner of a champ car race. Well, the story goes a lot deeper than that. Scott's parents, Ron and Glennis, who were actually here from New Zealand, went broke back in 1995 trying to support Scott's career. They literally told him, Scott, I'm sorry, we can no longer do anything. And he thought his career was over. Enter one of his sponsors, Peter Johnson. And Peter, you then took an interesting initiative to save the career of Scott Dixon.
Yes, Scott came, Ron came knocking on the door one day and said, hey, can you help my son out? We'd helped him before in Formula Ford. I've watched Scott's career. He'd won everything in New Zealand there was to win. And he said, hey, I'm broke, my house is mortgaged to pieces, it's all over. So I decided, I went door knocking, and I went around about 10 businessmen in New Zealand and said, hey, we've got a talent here, this guy's special, can you give me a hand? And we formed Scott Dixon Motorsport Limited and funded the factor and got Scott to Australia driving in Formula Holden. From then on it progressed, he won everything, he won the championship there in Australia, and then we came to America and went to Deluxe.
And Peter, you just came from New Zealand, got here last night. It must be a thrill for you and for your group just to see how successful he has become with your support.
Yeah, I think the biggest thrill is to be able to come here, sit in the stands and watch Scott race, and that gives me a very big personal buzz, and all the consortium as well who gave us money to see a New Zealand out there doing very well.
Well done, Peter. A great gesture and a great support system, and the success came along with it. Thank you. Well done, fellas.
All right, thanks, Derek. There is Mario Dominguez, newly renumbered, number 55. None of the cars on track, Nakano, Dominguez, or now Michael Andretti, have yet improved on yesterday's times. There is Michael Andretti in the Motorola car. Number 39, matching Michael's age, the most experienced active driver in the series right now, the all-time kart leader in starts. Leader among active drivers with 42 victories, including that surprising win on the streets of Long Beach, California. Continue to watch Michael. Meanwhile, let's hear from Scott Pruitt in the pit lane.
Another strong runner this weekend, Christian Fittipaldi. Christian, we were just talking earlier, how hard is it to be sitting here while all those cars are on track right now?
And I answered you earlier. You've been a driver. You can ask me better questions than that.
See, that's what we were talking about. This is extremely tough, sitting here waiting these cars to get a chance to go out and put one down.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's harder staying out here than actually going onto the track, but when the right time arrives, we will hop into the car and go out there and see what I can try to do my very best.
Have a good one. Bob?
All right, thanks, Scott. Now, this is serious. Now the red flag comes out. Mario Dominguez there is parked just over the brow from turn 6 up to turn 7, out of the view of the drivers accelerating up the hill.
And he learned something from yesterday. He is there, and it's a very dangerous spot, but the skid marks from, you can see where Tagliani exits here right there are the skid marks from yesterday. So it's the exact same spot, but he is off the racing line. So, but that is still a very dangerous situation. You see the yellow flag. The guys might come up offline thinking about yesterday. So going red is definitely the right decision.
Now this will take time out of the 60-minute session. Remember, the field is guaranteed 45 green flag minutes out of the 60-minute session, and it looks like they'll be able to get Dominguez moving fairly quickly. While we have a moment now, let's go down to Calvin Fish.
Well, the Herders team are here on the timing stand, and Keith Wiggins, you're working here with the Ford engineers. What can you tell us about the situation with the car on track?
Well, at the moment, the engine's just cut, so we don't know what the problem is till we get the car back, so it's just died, so...
Certainly, Mario's put in a great performance here. He ran strong in the last couple of races, and the young rookie seems to be getting his legs now and getting some confidence in the car.
Yeah, he's doing a very good job, so we just got to make sure that we're there for him and we get it sorted out. Yeah, he's already up to speed, so we're expecting good things.
All right, hopefully they can get the car back to pit lane, work on it, and get him back out there. He ran very well in the morning practice session. I believe he was in the top dozen or so, Bob.
He ran very well indeed. 13th on the combined practice times from 2 days. More bad luck for them, however. Keith Wiggins said after the Milwaukee round, when they had problems getting fuel in the car, we're thinking of changing our religions just to get some better luck around here. So the Simple Green safety team is about to pull Dominguez away. Let's take a look once again at what happened to Alex Tagliani in the spot shadow as he came up on a slow-moving car of Christian Fittipaldi.
Oh, my God, that makes my heart stop every time I see it, even knowing how it turns out. So it still ended up in a huge crash for Tagliani. And from a driver's eye view, coming up that hill, you're sitting so low to the ground that valley, it's like being on the highway when you're trying to find room to pass. You can't see far enough until you get in. The car was right on top of him. Tagliani grabbed the wheel, jerked it hard right, but had a big crash as a result, but avoided an even bigger one.
Trying to bump start the car, apparently not having much luck as the Mexican rookie. We'll take a break. There is the top 5 currently. The second round of qualifying just underway. We'll be back. Today's live Speed Channel coverage is brought to you by AT&T Long Distance. Let your long distance be unlimited. And by Mazda. There's a soul of a sports car in everything we make. Back live on the Monterey Peninsula, and we are back under green in this second round of qualifying for the Bridgestone Grand Prix of Monterey, presented by Mazda. To Scott Pruitt.
Kim Green, we're down here talking about when the red comes out, how do you readjust your strategy for the rest of the session?
Well, certainly on a road course, it's all about getting a clear lap, and we were trying to position ourselves, go out a little early, get a run going. We've struggled a little bit this weekend, so we're just trying to get a clear racetrack. Now the balancing act is again finding a gap on the racetrack, so you get really just a clear lap. And yeah, Michael's really only lost one lap, only used one lap because the red came out when he was on his second lap. So we've still got another 14 laps to go.
Stay tuned for more action.
All right, thank you, Scott. You ride along with Paul Tracy from Team Green. We have 5 cars on track right now. Pappas, Tracy, Takagi, Michael Andretti, and Dario Franchitti. So all of the Team Green cars are out there. Tire smoke there from the car ahead of Tracy.
It's Dario. Cool Mile and Cool Mild car, and Paul in the cool FK Filter King car. Think everyone's ever said F King Tracy before?
Different kind of green. Great paint jobs on these cars. Now, these are cars from the back half of the grid. Pappas up 12th, Tracy 13th, Takagi 14th, Michael Andretti 17th, Dario Franchitti currently 19th. Mario Dominguez, who brought out that red flag, is 11th, and because he brought out that flag, he will lose his best lap. So Dominguez is effectively 1 lap in the hole. The fastest he goes, he will lose that lap today. So he's got to put a string of fast laps together in order to improve. Turn 11. Doesn't take long to get through the gearbox with 850 horsepower under your right foot. We'll take a break and return for live coverage of qualifying. Second round at Laguna Seca. There is the young New Zealander Scott Dixon. There is Dominguez. Welcome back live to Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, where the action is heating up now in second round qualifying for the Bridgestone Grand Prix of Monterey. Paul Tracy has leapt all the way up to 7th on the provisional grid with a lap at 1:10.626. That is more than a half-second improvement on yesterday's time. And you're looking at Max Pappas. Things are looking up for the Sigma Autosport team. They have new sponsorship from Sunoco this weekend. Tommy, let's take a look at the AT&T track map.
So here's start finish. That's down to turn 2, the hairpin, and then all the way through the new infield section. Has been this way for several years. Very flat, very smooth, but not a lot of grip. This is the long hill climb up into the key hill or the corkscrew right there. 2 stories. Is like Paul Tracy says, it's like getting into an elevator shaft. It just drops straight down. The bottom drops out from under you. Very spectacular to look at and to drive. But this section here is probably the most critical for time. Not a lot of difference between the teams up until the corkscrew. A lot of big time made in the last half of the lap.
It is a great driver's circuit. There's Dario Franchitti making his way into the newly remodeled pit lane here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, and there are his feet at work. Dario Franchitti's feet, that is. This is the first look we've had at our foot cam. And he's a right foot braker.
Well, in the pits, you have to be a right foot braker because you need one left over to work the clutch.
Good point.
So even the left foot brakers would use their right foot in the pits.
So we'll definitely have to go to that when he is at speed on the track. Here's Tora Takagi from Walker Racing in a Reynard, one of only 4 in the pit lane. 4 Reynard-equipped teams this weekend. And this is Cristiano Damata in the Chevron card from Newman Haas Racing. Long time since they had a pole.
And this is something to point out. You saw this is the outlap. You see how slow he's going. You saw him get crossed up even at this speed. This comes into play not only now. He's trying to get up to speed and stay out of everyone's way, but every time they leave the pits during the race, they're on cold tires. And with the new 25 lap, there's I think 6 or 7 pit stops in the race on Sunday. And so this is really, it's very risky. You try to go as quick as you can, but the chances of making a mistake on cold tires are through the roof.
56 races since a Newman Haas driver won a pole position. And Cristiano Damata has none in his career thus far, despite all the races he's won. While we watch him in action, here's Calvin Fish.
Well, just a quick update on Mario Dominguez. They actually have a broken fuel pump on that Ford engine. That's a big change. They can't fix it in the session. Mario's now getting fitted into the backup car, but once he runs this car, all his times are out of the window. He was 11th fastest yesterday, so if they put this car on the track, he'll start from scratch.
More action on the timesheets. The current order is Kenny Brack, Cristiano Damata, Patrick Carpentier, who has barely turned a lap yet. Tony Kanaan has not turned any. Now Patrick Carpentier is on the board, but nowhere close to the time he ran yesterday. He's on a hot lap now. Christian Fittipaldi is 5th, followed by Bruno Junqueira. Paul Tracy moving up from the lower half of the grid. Alex Tagliani is 8th. Townsend Bell, who went flag to clinch the Dayton Indy Lights Championship at this track a year ago, is 9th, and Jimmy Vasser is 10th. Let's track Cristiano Damata's progress with our sectional times. 4/10 slower than provisional pole, and adds another half second at the top of the corkscrew.
Yeah, saw the back step out big time as he got on the brakes for the corkscrew, but this is still only his first time lap. You heard Bruno say that you're looking at lap 2, lap 3. I would expect if he feels good about the car, you will be able to tell coming off turn 11 here if he really boots it. I would say that he's probably still doesn't have enough tire temperature. Scott, do you think he's on a flyer here? Second time lap, or do you think he needs one more?
The second and the third lap are going to be the quickest. The other thing very, very tough about this track is locking up the right front tire or left front tire. There are 2 areas that are extremely difficult. In fact, a number of times you come to this track, you'll actually run a little bit more rear brake than front brake. If you crest a hill going into the corkscrew, it's very, very easy to lock that right front. As you go down into turn 2, that tight hairpin at the bottom, also very, very easy to lock those fronts. And these guys have got to be careful.
You can see from the split, he's only 3/100ths off the bogey time, the pole time. A slower car trying to get up to speed up ahead of him. He's going to catch him at just the wrong time if he's not.
Oh, and he's quicker, is Cristiano Damata, than provisional pole. Just go right to the shift lever, short shift up a gear, head for turn 9. Slight bowl effect here to catch the car. Did he lose too much time with that wiggle? He lost a bunch. Nope. 22 thousandths of a second off.
So this ought to be the one.
Qualifying performance thus far this year. 5th in Monterrey, Mexico. 2nd at Long Beach by 3 1/1000ths of a second to Jimmy Vasser. 8th on the oval at Japan. And 7th on the Milwaukee Mile. There's another look at that wiggle by D'Amata in the corkscrew.
Locks the left front going in, and right when the car jumps, gets crossed up. I don't think the traffic affected. I think that was more probably a function of tire temperature than anything.
Back to live action. Called it 9 before, my mistake.
The extra speed is visible, even versus his prior lap was just a hair too slow. So I expect this one to be a really good one. A lot more grip.
Using every inch of the racetrack. And up to first place goes Cristiano D'Amata. 1:09.473 seconds. That's the fastest lap we've seen all weekend here at Laguna.
And it's a full 0.6 quicker than Kenny's time from yesterday.
So Cristiano D'Amata moves to provisional pole, still looking for his first career pole in the Kart FedEx Championship Series. There's our visor cam. See that soon, so stay with us. Welcome back live to Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. You ride along with Kenny Brack, who has the point from yesterday's first round of qualifying and a guaranteed front row starting position in tomorrow's Bridgestone Grand Prix of Monterey. But he is not the provisional pole sitter any longer. Cristiano D'Amata from Newman Haas Racing has bumped him. Brack currently second, trying to claw that pole position back. Patrick Carpentier remains third. Tony Kanaan remains fourth. Alex Tagliani has moved up from 7th to 5th. Scott Dixon from 15th up to 6th. Bruno Junqueira was 6th. He is now 7th. Christian Fittipaldi was 5th. He is now 8th. Townsend Bell has gone from 8th to 9th. And Michel Jourdain has moved from 16th up to 10th as we watch his teammate Jimmy Vasser in the shell car. You see the time remaining in the session coming up on 20 minutes. And the running order across the top of your screen as Vasser pits.
Jimmy, one of the few guys, there's only 4 guys that have not gone quicker today than yesterday. So he's fallen all the way back to 13th on the time chart. You saw Kenny take his best run at it. He came up just exactly a 10th short of Cristiano. So they're going to come in, probably make a change. Some guys might decide to throw the second set on because there's not a whole lot of time left. But these guys like to push things. I would imagine most of them will try to do a change, get one more run, and then throw the stickers on at the very end.
This is Christian Fittipaldi from Newman Haas Racing, D'Amata's teammate. And he has plenty of laps in hand. The hard work remains ahead of him. He is currently 8th. And he has yet to improve on his lap time from yesterday, although he's missed it by just 1/100th of a second to this point.
And he's off the gas too. He's just ended his first run and is going to cool it off a little bit, bring it back to the pits to make their one change.
Here is Michel Jourdain Jr., second-generation racer in his 7th season in the Kart FedEx Championship Series and leading the championship for the first time ever. Calvin Fish has more on him.
Well, Jourdain has really been struggling this weekend, Bob, but they made a major change here this morning and made some progress with the car. He just came in. He's moved up to 10th overall. They changed all 4 shocks, front and rear. Spoke to the engineers. They said the car's still a little bit loose. He's a lot happier with it. But what impresses the team most about Michel is he's very calm. He doesn't panic. He just tells them what's wrong. Even if he's way down the grid sheet, he just keeps working and working. And that kind of experience, we keep thinking of him as a young driver, but he's had over 100 starts in these cars and is showing this season.
All right, thank you, Calvin. Jourdain's uncle Bernard Jourdain is here this weekend to watch his nephew in action as Emerson Fittipaldi is keeping tabs on Christian. Bernard Jourdain shared co-Rookie of the Year honors in the 1989 Indianapolis 500 with our own Scott Pruitt. There's your top 10 as they currently stand. We'll be back live in a moment. Today's live Speed Channel coverage is brought to you by Mazda. There's the soul of a sports car in everything we make. Back live at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, Bob Varsha, Tommy Kendall, Scott Pruitt, Calvin Fish, and Derek Daly with you for the second round of qualifying for tomorrow's Bridgestone Grand Prix of Monterey, presented by Mazda. The players' Forsyth cars on track. That is Alex Tagliani with the red accents on the car. Currently in 6th. His teammate Patrick Carpentier is 4th. Let's get down to the pits. And oh, wait, off the track goes Tagliani. So his problems continue. That's at the very high speed turn 6. Boy, this team has been star-crossed this weekend. And they had a big crash last week on the Milwaukee Mile. Patrick Carpentier on Saturday morning. Calvin Fish.
Well, I just spoke to Neil Mickelwright, and they are pretty happy with tag setup, but they have been experiencing high-speed understeer in that Renard, and they said they're really struggling with it down through 9 and 10. But right now, you saw him go off the turning tracks, turn 6, and he's now on his way to pit lane for a slight adjustment, guys.
And still some understeer. Right there, you've got, that's a real quick corner. It's not a real steady state. You dump in with a little bit of bank, and then it flattens out in a hurry. So the secret is getting through there and carrying as much momentum because you're in the corner for so little, and he just ran out of racetrack and was lucky to keep it off the tires on the right, and oftentimes they hook back to the left when you get two in the dirt like that.
See Tagliani very animated in the cockpit, shaking his head. What have I got to do? And there is Max Pappas in the Sigma Autosport pits. Derek Daly is there.
Bob, when you don't have an open checkbook, you go and ask your friends for assistance in your time of need. That's what Max Pappas did. Went to Brembo, an Italian company, and said, would you please help us by taking the brake calipers and rebuilding them for this weekend free of charge? Of course they did, because they also recognized just how good a job this very, very small but very efficient team runs. And you'll also notice they have Sunoco on the car for this weekend. So they are making good progress.
Indeed they are. They added the Coca-Cola Powerade brand last weekend in Milwaukee, now Sunoco. On track now with Dario Franchitti, still shown 17th. There is the foot cam. See, I told you it was a right foot breaker, TK.
You were right. I was just saying it wasn't definitive from that shot. So, and you hear a lot about heel toe. Well, it really is instep, outstep, and this shows you exactly what it is. They use the left or the ball, inside ball, of the right foot, and then just pivot the foot over and just catch the throttle for those downshifts.
You see the steering column there, and that bolt running through the steering column. I wonder if you can catch your toe on that thing.
Actually, you see he's almost, this would be interesting for the team to look at, he's almost catching the gas pedal when he gets the brake on the initial application. And we've talked about how particular Dario is about the setup in the car, the seating position and so forth, and this is one of the things that obviously you would feel that. The car would run on the minute you hand the brake, but they might be able to look at the data and find out that he's hanging up the throttle a little bit while he's getting on the brake pedal.
As we watch Franchitti's minuet in action, the steering shaft over there on the right, as I mentioned. And Calvin Fish can add more on Franchitti's braking technique. Excuse me, Scott Pruitt.
And interesting thing, Tommy, you're talking about left foot, right foot breakers. Tony Kanaan coming here with the Lola for the first time. I talked to him a little bit earlier, and what he said was they're having a hard time. The way that they have the brake pedal set up in the Lola is different than in a Reynard, and they're having some problem. He's one of those guys who right foot brakes. He does not left foot. One of the only guys, very small number of guys, who do right foot brake. And he said that he's having a problem with that right now. They're trying to do some changes, but they come here so late with this Lola, they weren't able to make any changes for this weekend nor next weekend in Portland. Bob?
All right, thanks, Scott. Plunging down the corkscrew turn. One of the most recognizable corners in all of motorsports. Just took 2 gears there. 16 drivers thus far have improved on yesterday's qualifying efforts. Make that 17. Franchitti leaps up to 13th with a lap at 110.596. That is a second and a half better than he did yesterday. So things are looking up for the Flying Scot. There is Kenny Breck still in second, wondering what he has to do to get to D'Amata. We'll be back. Welcome back live to Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, where second round qualifying now has less than 10 minutes to go, coming up on 9 minutes remaining in the session. You're watching Bruno Junqueira, who was 6th in yesterday's first round. He is now 3rd and doing a great job out there. His teammate Kenny Breck had provisional pole. I wondered going to break what Breck might do to try to overcome Cristiano D'Amata, our current provisional pole sitter. Derek Daly can tell us more.
Well, Bob, what Kenny has to do is wait. He has sat here patiently in the car for all this time because he believes he can no longer change the car and make it go faster. He has to time this to perfection. He sat here until more cars ran, put more rubber down, cleaned the racetrack, and this is the run he believes will knock D'Amata from the pole. He's on brand new tires. Now, let me just show you something else over here, if I could just hit the camera very quickly. See the hard wiring here for the engineers when they plug in up to the headsets? The engineers are hardwired to Kenny because if they discuss changes on the racing car through radio frequency, there's a chance other teams may listen into their information. Therefore, the hardwire.
All right, thank you, Derek. Kenny Breck is going to have a hard time finding a clear piece of racetrack, and you see him letting faster cars through. 17 of the 19 cars in the field are currently on the racetrack. We come up on 7.5 minutes to go in this section, and a lot of drivers still have laps in hand. There's Tony Kanaan closing up on Bruno Junqueira. On board Cristiano D'Amata, excuse me. There is Cristiano D'Amata. We were on board with Christian Fittipaldi. It's like D'Amata coming up to speed. He's only done 7 of his allowed 15 laps thus far, but he's got an engine miss, we're being told. Let's get to Scott Pruitt.
That's right. I was just talking to Peter Gibbons. Unfortunately, he can't get to us right now. A lot of problems. They picked up some sort of engine miss. They were hopeful to get back out there and get a good run, but this could be a potential huge problem for Cristiano, especially as he looks to try and get his first pole. Bob?
Oh, there goes the motor in the biggest possible way. Through turn 6 and up the hill on the racing line is Cristiano D'Amata. That will not win him any popularity contests.
But it might keep him the pole.
He may go home with bruises. Urging him to try to coast in.
Try not to cause a red is what they're trying not to do. The team's saying try not to cause a red.
Ah, that's right. You don't want to lose that lap.
So there's a place where that rule might have a counter effect that he doesn't want to pull off, which might be better for everybody else, but is worse for him.
Another look. There it goes. Killing mosquitoes all the way to Salinas. The Toyota engines are using a different sort of turbo system. The exhausts are split. It's a single wastegate turbo. Ooh. And there may be oil down. One of the players' Forsyth cars has swapped ends. Looks like Patrick Carpentier. Yes, it is. I don't know if there's any yellow flags or oil flags down there in turn 6. Word from race control is we will continue the session. Here comes Townsend Bell in the Vistion car in orange and white. Dominant winner on this racetrack last year in the Dayton Indy Lights Championship. He then went out and started carving celebratory donuts on the racetrack. While cars were still cooling down, he got slapped with a penalty for it. But he is the champion. This is the track in the Kart FedEx Championship Series he knows best.
See, everybody's looking for a spot. He was on a fast lap, but he slowed down to get off of the one player's car, and then he had to worry about now he's kind of borderline in the way of Tagliani. They're both on hot laps now with time running out. So Townsend has plenty of laps left in his holster. He's on lap 11, working lap 12 right now. But the more important thing is, can he find a clear spot on the racetrack?
Bell is 11th, Tagliani 7th, and Mario Dominguez, by the way, jumped into his backup car and put it 10th on the provisional grid thus far. Great job by the Mexican rookie. as we watch Tagliani in action. Calvin Fish.
Well, when these cars are flying off the racetrack, Bob, very important, $500,000 a piece. This is a skid plate, protects the bottom of the car. When Tagliani went off in turn 6, he completely destroyed this. You can see it chewed up here on the front edge. The team went to work, put a new piece in place. This little hole here is where the air jack comes through so they can get the car off the ground during the pit stops.
Thank you, Calvin.
Interesting thing about the skid plates, they used to run a Jabrock one, and then before that they ran titanium, which caused big sparks, but also damaged the track. Now they run a combination, and sometimes they'll run a Jabrock one, sometimes they'll run a steel one, sometimes they'll run a tungsten one, and the difference is in the weight, and they'll shift the ballast fore and aft. Jimmy Vasser says he likes to work with that a lot, and so they run different types of skid plates at different parts on the car.
Jabrock, a compressed wood product. Ooh, big wiggle there for Kenny Brack. As Derek Daly mentioned, this is Brack's last stab. About 3 minutes and 45 seconds to go. 17 drivers have improved. I guess 18 if you consider that Mario Dominguez is in his backup car. The 2 drivers who have not yet improved, Patrick Carpentier in 6th place, Jimmy Vasser in 17th. Scott Pruitt.
Well said to Cristiano Domana. Any idea what happened? We know we had a big engine. Anything leading up to it?
No, there was nothing indicating there wasn't any problem. Just the engine went. I don't think no obvious reasons right now.
Looks like the balance of the car, everything looked like it was going good. A bit of bad luck.
Well, it's not bad luck. Those things just happen sometimes. It's just a very, very bad timing, but better today than tomorrow.
Well, we'll sit here and watch side. Hopefully you can stay up there on top. Bob?
All right, thanks very much. Word from the racetrack marshals is that Tony Kanaan spun and continued. There was dust all over the infield here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca as everybody's working hard. There is Kanaan. He's changed his helmet colors this weekend to those of his native Brazil in support of his World Cup soccer team that beat China this morning. Let's see if we can see what happened to Kanaan. This down in turn 3 where we've seen a couple of spins already this weekend. That worked out all right.
That's just a very flat, low grip spot, and it's really hard to find the balance there. You turn in too safely, and it pushes like crazy. If you turn in a little bit too late, and the back end comes out. And we're on board with Kenny. We saw you boarded the last lap. He had a really good one going, caught a car, said the heck with this, didn't finish the lap, backed off, created another gap, and here he is on it again.
Plunging downhill toward turn 10, left side of your screen. Coming up on 2 minutes to go in the session.
See where he's at. Nope, he's over 7/10 behind, so that's not going to get it done.
See what he's got at start finish. Nope. He remains in 2nd place. We saw Tony Kanaan slow briefly to get a clear piece of racetrack. Coming up on 1.5 minutes to go now. And Jimmy Vasser has improved his time. He is now at 1 minute 10.612 seconds, up to 15th on the grid. So Patrick Carpentier, who is on track right now, is the only driver who has not improved from yesterday's first round.
I can't tell you how frustrating it is for these guys to have their tires at their peak beyond a good lap and not be able to get one in. Paul Tracy's been lighting up the radios, giving plugs to his sponsors, F King this, F King that. And it is very, very frustrating because you think you have the car to get it done, but you just don't get a chance to show it. It's the same for everyone, but some guys are better and more fortunate at finding a clear spot.
Brack 3/10 off at the top of the corkscrew. He slows one more time. Less than a minute to go now. He'll have one more hot lap to start. He has 4 laps remaining. Effectively, 3 of them are useful, but it appears that Kenny Brack will call it a day and settle for 2nd. Assuming that's where he stays with 33 seconds and counting to go. This is Christian Fittipaldi. Currently in 5th.
And he's close, a little over a 10th behind the pace of his teammate, Cristiano.
Checking his time, coming up right about now. Nope, lost a half second going up. His team, Newman Haas Racing, and their storied history have 4 poles here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. Michael Andretti, the last one in 1992. Before him, Father Mario took pole in 1984, 86, and 87. It looks like they will pick up another today in the person of Cristiano Domana. Checkered flag waves. No improvement for Christian Fittipaldi. He remains 5th inside of row 3 for tomorrow's Bridgestone Grand Prix presented by Mazda. There's Alex Tagliani plunging down the corkscrew. He's currently in 7th. Comment from his crewman at the top of the show saying, we'll keep running race cars out there for he and Patrick as long as they keep doing good things with them. No improvement for Tagliani. Remains 7th. 1 spot behind teammate Patrick Carpentier. Let's go to Derek Daly.
We're here with Chip Ganassi. Chip, there was an unfortunate set of circumstances there that really ruined Kenny's chance of getting the pole.
Undoubtedly. I mean, it was the most unsportsmanlike thing I've ever seen in my life. A guy blows an engine, then he drove another mile on the whole, just stayed on the line, dripping oil for another mile. Got to be thrown out of the series.
Well, boys, there's an interesting reaction.
Well, and that is a counter effect of that one rule, unintended of course, but he did not want to cause a red flag, so he limped it all the way around. That's something that they'll probably address.
I would imagine, since he did appear to stay on the racing line. Scott Pruitt.
Awesome job, Cristiano. It's been a long time coming. Bad luck with the engine, but great luck sticking it on pole.
Well, it was a little too tense at the end, just watching everybody running. I was very concerned because I knew my engine let go, and I didn't want to stop on the track because, you know, sometimes they threw a red, even if the car is not in a very dangerous position. So I'm just doing that last lap, praying that the engine wouldn't stall in the middle of the circuit, and it wasn't a good feeling. I wish I could go out and run for another lap time. Unfortunately, I think I put a lot of oil on the track, but I had to come in. Sorry for the other guys, but I had to bring that car in.
Well, great job. I know that Chip might not be happy with that, but awesome job, Cristiano. Bob?
Team co-owner Carl Haas congratulating Cristiano D'Amata, 4th different pole sitter in 5 races thus far this year, and the first ever for D'Amata. I imagine Chip Ganassi can tell him exactly how much oil he laid down.
It's fast.
Welcome back to Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, where a dramatic second round of qualifying has produced Cristiano D'Amata's first career pole in his 65th start, breaking a string of 5 straight, not 5 straight, but 5 career second-place qualifying performances. Kenny Brack winds up second. As you look down through the rest of the field, some great performances. None, in my view, better than rookie Mario Dominguez, who took his backup car out and put it on row 6 for tomorrow's Bridgestone Grand Prix of Monterey. We'll take a quick break and be right back.
Welcome back, everybody, to the sunshine of Laguna Seca, California. Qualifying has just ended. Bruno Junqueira ends up in 3rd place. I think you're fairly happy, Bruno, considering how poor it was yesterday morning.
Yeah, I think Team Target made a very good improvement in the car. Start to gain a lot of positions. 3rd place is not a bad place. I've been consistent whole year. I always start in the front. For sure, I always won on the pole. I think I had a chance, but I think it's a good position for start. Kenny 2nd and me 3rd, 2 Team Targets in the front. That's good.
Exactly, it is good. Of course, the man he mentions, Kenny, is right here. Kenny, an unfortunate set of circumstances because we saw you sit in the car knowing you had the setup and you were just going to time this, and then, of course, D'Amata blows up. Didn't go your way.
No, it didn't. It was unfortunate. I don't know if I would have driven around in the line like that, but that's the way it goes, you know, and we're happy to be second. I think we had the car to get the pole because we were a 10th up going up the hill, and then you get in that oil for all the rest of the turns, but that's life. We should have tried to set a time earlier, you know, and that's it. But we're happy with second. It's a great day for the number 12 the crew and engineers and Team Target and everybody.
Thank you, Kenny. Well done. It's interesting that Kenny says he had the speed, that he was actually faster than D'Amata. That bodes very well for Kenny for tomorrow. Scott Pruitt?
Tony, the Pioneer car, you guys did a great job. You come here with a brand new car with the Lola, switching from Reynard. Not 1 mile turned on the racetrack, and here you're sitting 4th and the quickest Honda. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, it's been great. I think, again, my guys, my team, Ian, my engineer, we've been working so close together, and the key was just to keep it tight. I mean, after Milwaukee, we had the meeting and said, guys, we're close. We can't give up. Let's go to Laguna and give everything. And that's what we're doing. Obviously, could be a little bit better. I couldn't match my lap time from this morning, But, you know, we made changes in the car that didn't work out. And without knowing the car, it's so hard, but I'm pleased. I mean, the Pioneer WorldCom team, it's been great. I mean, I'm happy, I'm pleased, so let's try to work for the race now.
Now, with Cristiano dumping down all that oil, what was it like out there?
It wasn't fun, I can tell you that. I don't know if he realized he was dropping that much of oil, but for sure made people pretty mad. I mean, I was hanging around there, you know, I had my fast lap going. People say it's oil in the track, and then I got a little slippery. So I still don't think I could have done better anyways, but it doesn't bug me. But I don't think I need to talk to him, see what he was thinking about that.
Best of luck for tomorrow. Bob?
All right, thanks very much, guys. We'll take another quick break and be back with more live from Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca on the Bridgestone Grand Prix of Monterey weekend. Stay with us. Oh, big trouble.
World Rally lives on speed. No one gets you closer.
Today's live Speed Channel coverage has been brought to you by FedEx, proud sponsor of the Kart FedEx Championship Series. And by Mazda. There's a soul of a sports car in everything we make. Back at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, we want to take a quick moment to speak with Gary Barnard, Senior Manager of Competition for Kart. Gary, Bob Varsha in the announce booth. You know the question. What about Cristiano D'Amata driving around the racetrack with that blown engine?
Well, we were listening to our observers who were telling us that the car was not dropping fluid at the time, so that's why we didn't shut down. However, we are aware that he did not get off the racing line. The stewards are evaluating it for a possibility of a fine in the next few minutes.
But no change in positions for tomorrow's start?
No, no. I just got through speaking with Wally about that. There will be a monetary situation, but no change in position.
All right, thank you very much, Gary Barnard. Wally, of course, is Wally Dallenbach, the Chief Steward for the Kart FedEx Championship Series. Down to Calvin Fish, quickly.
Well, we're going to have a quick chat here with Patrick. They're saying that he wasn't dropping any fluid, but you certainly went for a ride on it.
Yeah, I spun forever. The fluid helped me. I spun all the way up the hill, and I really damaged the tires. After that, I was going like this in the car. The tires were more square than round, but that was the end of it. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Today it did not, but we still have the race.
All right, mate. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Patrick Carpentier, always with a smile. Now, you heard Gary Barnard say it. There will be no change in position, so here is the unofficial starting grid for tomorrow's Bridgestone Grand Prix of Monterey, presented by Mazda. Cristiano D'Amata, his first career Kart FedEx Championship Series pole. He'll start alongside Kenny Brack, Bruno Junqueira, and Tony Kanaan on row 2, Christian Fittipaldi and Patrick Carpentier on row 3. Read down through the rest of the grid as I tell you that the big improvers on the day, Tora Takagi and Scott Dixon, improved 6 places from yesterday's first round. Dario Franchitti and Michel Jourdain Jr. 5, and Bruno Junqueira 3 spots. Among the big losers on the day, Jimmy Vasser fell 6 spots from yesterday, Max Pappas 5. Be sure to be with us for tomorrow's running of the Bridgestone Grand Prix of Monterey. Tonight, the Toyota Atlantic cars will come your way from Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And we will be live for tomorrow's Kart FedEx Championship Series Round 5 beginning at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. So join us then. We hope you've enjoyed our live coverage of qualifying. Be sure to join us for the race. I'm Bob Varsha. For Tommy Kendall, Scott Pruitt, Derek Daly, and Calvin Fish. See you tomorrow at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca on the beautiful California's Monterey Peninsula. So long, everyone.